Good news for everyone out there holding ETH. Raoul Pal just shared some insights on why he still believes it will do well going into the future and how it will most likely be the base layer for lots of future financial tech and services being built on top of it. So stay tuned.
Bitcoin is booming. Are you cashing in or missing out? At Drip2BTC, we're rewriting the rules of Bitcoin investing. Earn up to 30% ROI on your deposits, unlock incredible Bitcoin discounts, and transform credit into up to 3,000% APR growth. No hassle, just real results. Don't wait, your future is one deposit away. Drip2BTC.com. Invest smart today.
Hey guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here with Drip and Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. In today's video, we got Raoul sitting down with, I forgot this guy's name, but he's covered this stuff before, but I never actually dove into it. I'm not a ETH holder at all anymore. I don't even transact on any layer 2s or any other EVM. Well, I guess I still have Binance's EVM compatible, but for the most part, I've just kind of moved away from it and just went straight with Bitcoin. But he's mentioning in here about where the tech will be built on top of. And he's used this analogy about the internet and Microsoft and Google, Amazon, all these other applications and software, and that these juggernauts are what's being created right now with like ETH and Solana and stuff like that. So let's listen to that clip and then let me know what you guys think about ETH and where it will go in this cycle. So it has not been doing too well when a lot of the alts pumped earlier this year. I guess you could say it did pump indeed. We got up to back around 4K at the end of last year, right before the right after the election. But its previous all-time high was just shy of 5. It was actually at 4,800. So it was 20% off of its all-time high. So I guess that's not too bad. But I feel like some of the other alts did a little bit better. But right now it's still down 50% basically from its all-time high. So I'm not sure where it's going to go, but I know some of you guys still hold ETH, and there's still a lot of leg room left in it for sure. But let's listen to his take on it, and you let me know if you believe the same.
And investors, particularly people that are going to participate in this kind of period that we're talking about, what do you think the best approach is?
Oops, a little too fast, I think. Apologies.
I'm the wrong person to talk to about diversification. Because I've run large diversified portfolios, big hedge fund portfolios with many, many positions. And what I found is, since I kind of discovered that everything code thesis about liquidity being the dominant driver, I realized there's one macro driver that drives everything. And then on top of it is the adoption of technology, whether it's crypto or tech. Those are the two mega trends. Nothing else outperforms the debasement of currency, which is 8% a year plus 3% inflation. So 11% a year is what you need to do to break even on your savings. And so you've only got two assets to do it, technology and crypto. And when I divide the NASDAQ by Bitcoin, it's down 99.97% since 2012. On every time horizon, it's underperformed. But they're driven by the same factor. 97.5% of the price moves of the NASDAQ are explained by global liquidity and 90% of Bitcoin. Yet, the performance is so wildly different. So I don't even know any tech stocks. Yes, I have trade recommendations for people who do, etc. I don't know those. So now you've got the world of crypto. So then, if they're all being driven by the same thing, what you want to choose is the fastest horse. Now, that's not buying the meme coin that can go up 100x. What you're trying to do is look for what are meaningful projects being run by meaningful people with meaningful communities. So it's this Metcalfe's law idea, how many active users do they have? What kind of value are they creating?
The utility, if you will.
Yeah, well, it's the measurement of the entire utility of the network. Do people value the network? Do they want to build on it? Do they want to transact on it? Do they want to own it? And so there's not that many that really show this. You've seen some of the communities like Cardano has a huge number of retail users, almost no applications. Bitcoin has both at scale. Ethereum has both at scale. Solana is earlier in the network adoption model, but it's got it at scale. Sui, arguably, very early, looks like it might get it. So then I played the dumb idiot. I kind of have a thesis in my head, and I'm just like, what does the chart look like? And so you start with the chart of Bitcoin, that's your benchmark. Is the asset that you think is the greatest asset ever conceived, the one that you want to own, is it outperforming Bitcoin or not? 99% of all tokens don't. Okay.
So you've heard me mention that before, but it's all definitely worth mentioning again. And the way he phrased it is you want to own the fastest horse in the race, and I would just say you want to own just a fast horse. So as he mentioned, 99% of tokens do not outperform Bitcoin. So, and what he was breaking down before that is you want to look at the NASDAQ and look at crypto and realize that they are heavily correlated by global liquidity. So if it's like, okay, if the cost of inflation is 11% a year, when you add everything up, that means you have to be able to at least earn 11% interest on top of your salary in order to stay at a break-even price. So the NASDAQ may not get you there. So that takes NASDAQ out of the equation. Maybe you could if you were trading stocks or something like that. Even with the S&P, I think it's like 10% or something like that. Maybe it averages out to 15. I don't remember which one. But let's just remove that from the equation. So now you're stuck with crypto. Like, okay, well, what in crypto has that adoption model, has the tech, has the users, all that stuff he mentioned. And that's why he went through with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Sui. So those are his 4 picks. And if you want to add your own altcoin in there, then you can. And that's where his thesis comes in at, well, look at the charts. Is it outperforming, or will it outperform Bitcoin? If not, then you're in that 99% of tokens that are not going to outperform. So you shouldn't hold it, and you'd be better off just holding Bitcoin. So let's take a listen at the Ethereum piece, where basically he's saying in order for a new crypto or an old crypto to continue to rally or stay relevant, it must capture attention of the masses, or for people to be able to easily understand and wrap their head around it. And that makes a lot of sense, because we are definitely in an attention age, and even in marketing with your pay-per-click and all that stuff, that's really just about buying eyeballs, is buying attention. So everything is attention. So if you don't have the attention, then you definitely don't have a crypto that's going to see any long-term sustainability.
And so that is the important thing. That's why Bitcoin digital gold, Ethereum's one was, and they kind of lost their way for a bit, was like the world computer, because it's basically a distributed compute platform. Solana was basically fast and cheap. Yeah, it's really simple to me. Microsoft and Apple exist. Android and Apple exist. Microsoft and Google exist. And they all have products that do the same thing, but they have different segments and different users. So if you are a non-corporate millennial, you'll use Google. Google Sheets, Gmail, all of that. If you're a corporate, worked in a corporate, you will 100% use Microsoft, unless you're in the media industry. Every single bank, financial institution on earth uses Microsoft.
Yeah.
Why? Because you don't get fired for it.
Yeah.
They don't want that as a risk.
Yeah.
Apple is like, well, it became, this is the cool kids brand, this is more retail, this is, it was a way of showing status, but it was, it was great design, it did different things. So if you really simply put it, Solana may well be Apple, or you could put a Solana and Sui as like, these are the kind of apples. Is that going to replace Microsoft? No. Because if you work for a bank, and you've been in the financial industry for a long time as well, there's no way you're going to say, hey, let's use this new chain that's been out for 2 years. You want the one that's been out for 10, been battle tested, has the most number of developers, the easiest integration. You can build a layer 2 because you don't want to use the layer 1 because you want to do something between bank A, bank B, or insurance company A, insurance company B. You build a layer 2. So what they've done is overbuilt Ethereum for current market. But we know where regulation's going there. We know that every financial institution on earth is going to build on this. We know that all assets are going to go onto this. So are the corporations likely to choose Ethereum or something on EVM? Yes. So my view is people are over worrying. They're mid-curving it.
Yeah.
Is Ethereum as an ecosystem faster and cheaper than it was? Yes. Is it perfect because does it accrue to the token holders of Ethereum? Maybe that's not right yet, unless those layer 2s get really massive. But that could happen too. You stick all of equities on a layer 2, you're going to generate all of the thing. So that's how I think about it right now. I think there's space for different types and different use cases, and Bitcoin is entirely separate because almost all of the applications layer has failed on Bitcoin. Yes, there's some NFTs and there's some lightning transactions for payments, but really, even when you come here, all of the Adia and Adic and all of these guys, they're all like, it's a store of value.
Raoul Pal.
So in case you missed that, he's saying that Ethereum will basically be the Microsoft of tech and financial services, where real world assets and banking and transactions and stuff will all settle on Ethereum. And again, it makes sense. Bitcoin maxis will say that they can build it on top of Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't hold, like I said, any ETH. But the logic that Raoul is using makes sense. ETH was the first chain to introduce smart contracts, and that is 100% necessary for the scalability of all these other services and stuff like that that we want. So, and like he said, that's where the developers are, that's where the users are, that's where the most layer 2 EVM compatible chains have been built. You can build on top of it, all this stuff. So it does make sense that if you're coming from the banking sector or something with grassroots has been around for 50, 60 years, you're going to battle test your new blockchain services on the OG of smart contract platforms, not the newest thing out there that hasn't, weathered the storm. So I could see that, and that could definitely be bullish for ETH. And I forgot who I heard was doing something with that, but I know there are some big names that are using it. And then you have, of course, stuff like Ripple, XRP doing their own blockchain. But I don't know. I would imagine that ETH would become that global, decentralized, for lack of a better word, public blockchain, even though it's not decentralized. But it's been around the longest and the most battle tested and the most developers, biggest community, things of that nature. So what he's saying makes sense. So I could see definitely there still being some positive outcomes for ETH well into the future. Again, that's not a bag I hold anymore, but I want to know what you guys think. Are you still holding ETH? Have you switched over into some of the others like Solana or Sui? And what's your outlook on this? Where you think it'll go by the end of this cycle? All right, smash that HBO special. Help a brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.